Today we're going to be talking a little bit about cross-cultural education, and I'm going to be taking you on a brief journey with me through the 5 keys to successful cross-cultural business communications. And we're going to be taking a very brief look at all the different keys and things that can happen to you whether you're traveling abroad or if you are simply working in the multicultural workplace of today. Shell is a global company. You are everywhere. The Hague, Glasgow, Chennai, Brazil, Manila. I think somebody mentioned Kuala Lumpur. I know you're in Houston because that's where we're at. You are everywhere. Well, the question is, where do you travel to? Who do you travel with? The other question is, do you speak the language anywhere you go? And if so, how well do you speak it? And even if you don't travel, in the workplace, who do you interact with there? And what is their mother tongue language? And what culture are they? There's a number of things that you need to take into consideration here when you talk about culture. Now, you may wonder why on this slide I have taken a look at and questioning who the people are that travel with you. The reason for that is because one time we had our corporate attorney and his wife travel to Geneva, and we were talking about the incorporation of the company in the U.S. His wife is named Bee. She is native Texan. As a matter of fact, she's from Johnson City, Texas, not too far from where LBJ grew up. And we were at a restaurant at the UN, a very nice outdoor restaurant, and the waiter came up and he asked her, "Madam, would you like your water with gas or without gas?" Which sounds funny, but it's not an atypical question for being in Europe. Well, in her lovely Texan accent, she said, "Without gas, please. I have enough gas from all this French food." Okay, at that point in time, I began to wonder, who I was traveling with. She proceeded to try to take on a little German, was telling people to Einsfart so that we could Ausfart. And it was a challenging situation. The interesting thing is, even with the people that we were working with over there, with clients and customers, they were trying to take on English and trying to use some English with some of our American customers in Geneva. And we had one gentleman in the office who was talking to another customer, and he said, and I think what he meant to say was, I'm very impressed, but he looked at the customer and went, "I'm very impressive." And this gentleman we really had to watch because with the company we do corporate training, executive coaching, and keynote speaking, of course. And he would tell people about our executive coaching. He could never get it straight, and consequently too many people, or not too many people I should say, were interested in executive coaching. So we quickly changed that to management coaching, something he could say. The point is, you have to ask yourself some questions, and especially if you are really doing business in other cultures in a serious fashion, as I know Shell is. I'd like to now take a look at what I like to call the cultural layer cake. You know, we all have layers in our culture. Very few of us are from only one culture. We're a blend of people. And it's not just the culture that we're from, as we refer to cross-culturally. There are a number of different layers that impact our layer cake. And these layers can be the country that we're from. It can be the language we speak. It can be our religion. It can be our geographical location. It can be our race. It can be our gender. It can be experience that we've had in life. And it can also be events. Now, I'd like to elaborate just a little bit on the aspect of geographical location. We can have major differences right here in the United States. There's a company that we work with in Dallas, and they are in the process of purchasing a company in New York City. What has happened is there's a woman in the office here, and her name is Ellie Brown. And when Ellie Brown contacts New York City by phone, she's just as friendly and outgoing as she can be. She's driving the New Yorkers crazy because they pick up the phone and they can never get off the phone. And the New Yorkers move a mile a minute. And while Ellie thinks the New Yorkers are very rude, the New Yorkers think that Ellie doesn't know how to get down to business. So we've got some cultural challenges right here in the U.S.